Hey guys, it's Trapper Cones, and today we will be doing ring gap. So we'll be doing ring gap on the pistons. Essentially, I'm kind of nervous, but this is the video I kind of was waiting for. I've been doing a lot of thinking. I do want to run nitrous on the car and run a nice little 100 shot, but I'm still stuck in the air. Like, I want to get a quick little nitrous kit, but I have been looking at Pro Chargers. My boy told me to wait. And see what the 550 feels like. Honestly, I am gonna wait, but I do gotta prep for the future. So the whole purpose of what I want to do with this car, I want to be able to take this car every and anywhere and make boosts consistently if I am going to be making boosts. But I just want the car to work all the time. With as little like issues as possible. That's kind of why I like the NA route. But I am going to be using the Richard Holdener's gap. Essentially, it's like gapping it for 20 plus pounds of boost or 200 shot of nitrous. Those are just about equal. So I'll be running like 0.28 on the top rings and 28 thousandths on the top, 30 thousandths, like 300 thousandths on the bottom. So yeah, 200 thousandths on the top ring, 30 thousandths. I'll put the numbers, I ain't gonna lie. But 0.003 and 0.0028, right? You want the top ring to be bigger than you want the top ring to be smaller than the big one. Than the second one. So the second ring would be essentially bigger than the top. I'm saying it backwards. The second ring would be bigger than the top, and then there's also a minimum clearance for the bottom oil ring. I've tested a few of the piston rings. I probably should go back and retest them, just making sure I have proper clearance. I documented a few of them. I was pretty satisfied. The crank spins freely. But for today, what you probably and most likely would need is oil, rings, a file cutter, and something to shave it. I don't have nothing to shave the piston things with it. I'm gonna try to see if I can shave it with the file ring cutter. If not, I'll just go to the store and grab some. But yeah, let's get into it. All right, so essentially I have these in there, but now I would say grab your rings. These are labeled perfectly, especially with instructions. So they tell you these are third rings, these are the second rings I was just talking about, and these are the top rings. In instructions, it tells you like the orientation of how to place them and how it's called out. So let me get this to focus. There we go. So dot on the left side of the gap, and laser on the top. Like, it basically calls out exactly what it is. So top does not indicate the piston ring groove location. A ring with no dot top or laser mark will signify ring can be installed either way. And that's how you put it. So I have all mines numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 based on how I took the pistons out. This is probably not the correct way to do it, but it just works for me because it's numbered, so I know everything's going back in the right way. But what I will be doing here is I got some cheap oil from AutoZone. I put it in a cap and I'm going to lubricate the wall that I'm going to put the rings in. The last thing you want is for the rings to like scratch the walls, but that's what we're about to do right now. So I sprayed a little bit of oil, dropped a little bit of oil in there. Just pass it back and forth. Try to get all it around, make sure the walls are lubricated. And that would help a lot with the engine reassembly. So just make sure you get the oil all the way in there, and I'm gonna drop the ring in. All right, so now that you have your ring and the walls are looped up, so this one indicates like there's no top or no dot or etching on there, but this came out the one bag, and if I want to compare it with the other ones, I pretty much could look at it, and if you look closely, it doesn't say top or anything. So what I'm gonna do, take this, drop it in there, and measure the gap. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, you need the fueler gauge. But yeah, so look, I'm gonna drop it directly in there. So now that's in there. What you want to do is grab your piston and your fueler gauge. Table's a mess. One sec. All right, so I went and got my fueler gauge. Essentially, you take the piston, sit it down in the ring to make sure the thing is even, and push it down just a tad bit.
Curated arrangements and gift baskets shipped nationwide with a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
All right, so now it should be flat since obviously the piston's flat, but I'm gonna stuck it in a little bit more. So this is fairly deep in my opinion. Pull this out slowly. There we go. Set this back down. Essentially, now I'm just... So what you want to do is start at a higher number. I can't even tell you what a gap is. There it goes. That's pretty small. Let me try to do this over again. All right, so it's a bit higher now. So there it goes. So this is where how you measure ring gap. Essentially, you take your fueler gauge. These have numbers on the side. And the number that I'm shooting for, here we go. So if you know how to read decimal points, this is 10th. That's blurry, hold on. There we go. 10th, 100 thousandths. So what I'm shooting for is 0.003. So you'd go down to 0.003. Am I saying this right? Whoa, I was wrong. We're going for... Let me write it down to show you guys. I need that cap. Alright, so I got the gaps. So we want the top to be at 0.028 and the bottom to be at 0.030. And the way I came up with this was for medium boost. Essentially medium boost is 15 to 30 pounds. This probably won't see 15 to 30 pounds in this configuration, but if I do swap the heads and I do strap turbos on the car, which is an option down the line, then the rings are already gapped for that. But also, so Gwinnett Performance wants you to essentially multiply the bore size. So I have a 4-inch bore times 0.0065, right? And that'll get you. So what Gwinnett Performance is saying that if I'm doing 150 to a 350 shot, I should do my top and bottom. They want me to do my top and bottom at 0.026. This may be a little bit overkill, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Especially with my first time doing this. Essentially, I would be straight though if I do this type of ring gap. But essentially you want the bottom to be a little bit bigger. So pretty much if I were to do that one, I should do 1 equals 0.026 and the bottom equals 0.028. So the bottom could be a bit bigger than the top. But sometimes, like I said, you never know. And ring gap is always the death of a lot of motors. Not to throw anyone under the bus, but a couple of YouTubers I watch, like smaller YouTubers, they essentially went supercharger on top, ran 12 pounds of boost, boom, kaboom. And like the thing is, like I said, you just never know. The car may like it, but if you don't have a proper ring gap, you really would never know. But yeah, that's the boost I'm going with. I mean, this is what I'm going with for my top, and that is what I'm going for my bottom, the top bottom. So essentially, now you take the fueler gauge and match this number. So essentially what you see here, 0.028, 0.028, and 0.030. So our top ring here, bottom ring here. Now let's check and see. What we wanted to do is just slide right in. It's kind of hard to see. So this doesn't slide right in. Yeah, this does not slide right in. I'm gonna see what it is. So if you guys take a look at this, my current ring gap is 0.0. There we go. 0.018. And the way I determine this, you just stick it in there. But this is like really, really tight, so it's even maybe smaller. So to fix that, we're gonna take this out, go to the ring filer, and file. Don't file too much, so what I'm gonna do is keep filing, check, filing, check, filing, check. But it's good that we have a starting point to know what our initial ring gap is coming in here. All right, so I ain't gonna lie, this actually took me forever to figure out how to do. But essentially, you set it down with the piston, stuck it in there. So what I'm gonna do is stick in the 25, the 0.25, and see, there you go. So the 0.25 slides right in and out, but the 0.26 hold on. Yeah, see the 0.26. If I gap it just a little bit, that'll mean I have 0.026 ring gap. So as of now, I have 0.025, which is good enough for what I will be doing, but I'm gonna just gap it just a tad bit. But that's pretty much how you would do the ring. That's just one ring. It probably took me about an hour, especially I'm learning how to do this. So I'm gonna try to get this precisely to 0.026. I went down with my numbers. I felt like 0.028 was gonna be a little bit too much because it says this is for between 15 to 30 pounds of boost. I don't think I'll be running that much, especially since the block can only handle, like with the pistons and compression I'll be running. Since I don't have forged pistons, the most I can run is probably like 10. So I guess this is perfect. So if we can scratch this number out, we're going with 0.026. So I'm gonna just try to gap these just a little bit more and then get us that 0.026. Okay, so now I have all the rings that you need. So essentially, look. There's two tiny ones at the bottom. I don't know where I'm at on the camera. Here we go. So there's two tiny ones at the bottom, which are these. Let me make sure there's no top or bottom in these. All right, so this goes at the bottom, and this expander, this is an oil expander, this gold part, and then you put this on top, so it's almost like a sandwich. I remember this when I took mines out. Mine's not a word, but you get what I'm saying. So a sandwich is like this, and then I have my bottom ring gap set to 0.028, and I have my top ring gap set to 0.026. I promise you this took forever. I'm doing one today, installing one piston. Maybe not even installing one piston. I'm gonna just put it together, let it sit over there, and call it a day. But essentially, you want to clock these. Essentially, these two are opposite from each other, and then these two would be opposite from each other. So if you see how this is, it looks like the Chanel logo, but both openings are facing opposite from each other, and then essentially these would face opposite from each other. So you would have 90, 90, 90, 90 clocking orientation, and then so from there, what you would do is use your ring installer tool. You're gonna use your ring installer tool and verify. So this is essentially my top ring. Because it doesn't say top on it. My second ring is my top ring. So I'm going to use the tool. Take the piston. I have piston number 1. Expand it. Expand it and let it go straight into the groove. Boom. So that's my first one. Then I take the second one, and as you see, make sure it shows you guys where it says top. Here you go. So where it says top, this one must face in this direction. So what I'm gonna do is make sure that it faces in that direction. So open that on top. And when I filed the second one, I didn't scrape the ring on where it said the label of top, just in case I do remove this engine and I want to reuse rings. But you see, I have this at the 12 o'clock position. I'm gonna go into the second ring and go to the 6 o'clock position. So I'm gonna stick this one in, and there's no way you can really mess this up because there's literally like instructions everywhere on this. Oh my God. You know what I thought about? I did this backwards. You're supposed to do the bottom first You're supposed to do the bottom first and then work your way up, because the next ring won't expand on the ring won't be able to expand on the next one. So what we're going to do is restart. Boom. I literally just watched a video on this too, but we're just gonna start over again. We put the bottom ring on, and I'll have my ring gap tool, my ring compressor. All right, here we go. Third time's a charm. We take the bottom one, use our ring gap tool. This one is like unidirectional. One last thing, you should clean them before you put them in my opinion. And I have not. Dun, 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 dun. No shot. Let's go. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe these down. Just wipe those down. That's 1, 2. And these are like they're coated in like some lubricant. Probably the oil that I put in the thing, so it's probably A-okay, honestly. But I'm gonna put fresh oil on them again, especially since I just wiped them. All right, you take the ring, put it on here. All right, expand it. Oh, I don't want to expand a lot, but this one is like really flimsy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one at the bottom. You probably don't even need it. Oh God. Boom. So this one goes straight in. You don't need it, but you see, I have this in the 3 o'clock position. All right. I'm gonna grab my oil expander. That goes on second. Go ahead and put that on there. That sits right above it. Perfect. So that sits right above it. It's supposed to slide right in. That bad boy. There we go. Slid right in. Trying to make sure that's not sitting on me. All right, so let me just clock this to this position. Damn, I forgot how the hell this junk going on now. Like, did it sit on each other? Or did it just slip right in? Well, it worked, I guess. Alright, so let me find that opening. Alright, boom. So I have this in the 3 o'clock position. Alright, and now I'm installing my top. That's going the entire opposite direction. So that's gonna sit on top of this gold part right here. So that's gonna sit on top of this gold part and slip right in. So now I have one at 9 o'clock and one at 3 o'clock. And then now my top one, so as I was doing before, this one is really hard to mess up. Essentially you just find top. So this one faces top. I'm gonna set my ring tool in it. Open it. So I have this one on this side. Exactly. So I have the bottom one on this side, the other one on this side. This is the second ring. This goes into the second groove right here. It's right around. Goes right around and slip right in. So now this one's facing 12 o'clock. So now this one's facing 12 o'clock. And lastly, this one is facing, the last one is, you can put it in any direction. So this one is the last one. We'll go ahead and put that in. Hold it. Wow. All right, so now you see, since I put this second one facing 12, this top one is going to be facing 6, right? Trying to let it sit in the groove itself. I'm gonna come up just a bit. There we go. Boom. So now I have this one at 6, this one at 12, this one at 3, and this one at 9. From there, it pretty much can go straight into the piston. So I don't know if this was able to show before, but this one's at 12, this one's at 3, this one's at 6, this one's at 9. So what I'm gonna do now is literally take the ring compressor tool, and fully install my first piston on camera. Hold on. I hope this doesn't adjust. Perfect. Okay, so I have the ring compressor tool. Hopefully this is on right, but I'm gonna remove the bottom, make sure the orientation is facing forward towards the motor, and I'm gonna put my first piston in. What I strongly recommend is that you lube up everything. I'm gonna re-lube up the walls right now. I'm gonna re-lube up the walls. I'm gonna lube up the crankshaft so everything goes in smoothly, because the last thing you want is a whole bunch of metal on your oil pan when you first start this. I already done the rod bearing clearance, so I'm pretty much set to go. Spin it over. Spin this over. Spin this up. Put the good old assembly lube. Hope I'm doing this right. And then we're gonna put those in the caps. All right, so now we have oil. Now we have assembly lube in the caps and the crankshaft. So what we're gonna do now is go to the wall. Actually, hold on. Let me go ahead and slightly tilt this over. Pour a little bit of oil. Let it go all the way down. Rotate it sideways. Use my hand, and this will get essentially whatever material was in there from the thing out. This oil smells extremely bad. Alright, and then I'm gonna wipe this down. So you added oil, wiped it down to remove whatever stuff was in there. And then we're going to add more oil. And do the same process again. But this time everything should be much cleaner. So let it sit down to the bottom, come back in and just run it around the walls. Perfect. So now the walls are lubricated with oil. Now, I'm a bit nervous. And now we take the piston, have it face forward, drop it straight in there. Try not to make it touch the walls like I do. Alright, so what's gonna happen now, you wanna get the walls, you wanna get the thing to sit directly on the walls and grab your rubber mallet. The reason you're doing this is because you don't want the rings to expand as they're going in there. So just line it up perfectly. And then hopefully you have a smooth transfer into Is this sitting directly in it? That's crazy. I did it. Oh shit. Holy shit, I did it. Oh my god. Alright, so it goes straight down. Oh! Alright. So I did it, but I overdid it. So now we have to do. Actually, it'd be dumb to go that way. Let's go the opposite way. So it passed where I need to go. Just by a bit. Go ahead and just push it down a little bit. Rotate the crank just a little bit. There we go. I hope I didn't make the crank. Okay. So now, just go ahead and push that bad boy in there. Boom. There we go. And then we take our cap, line it up properly. Essentially, these are broken caps. If you don't know about broken caps, what the older LS engines, they just crack them from factory. And then from there, you just pretty much gotta match it. I probably didn't give a good example of what broken caps are. But essentially, they just come broken from factory. That's all I'm trying to say. Alright, so they're not down all the way. It's not down all the way, so I'm gonna continue to try to hit it and hold the rod cap. Alright, so now it's all the way down. Now let's screw one side. Screw the other side. And there we go, guys. I literally installed, like finally installed my first piston. Boom. I'm gonna go ahead and lock it now while I torque it. So this is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So I don't have, so to torque these connecting rods, you have to torque them to 15 foot-pounds. So what I end up doing is pretty much, my torque wrench starts at 20, it goes from 20 to 150. So what I do is just go to 20 and subtract by 5. And then it should give me 15 foot-pounds. But you still have to torque them to a degree. So what I'm gonna do here, make sure you get it to sit on. Oh, it doesn't take a lot, honestly. Boom. So now I just torque down. I will not be torquing it with the degrees right now because that's something I'm gonna do when they're all on there and torque every single one of them down to spec. But so now I have one piston on. So we have one official piston. I'll go ahead and see if I can try to turn this. And that is very, very good, guys. That is very, very good. Pretty much that is exactly how you install a piston from start to finish. You gotta have ring gap, you gotta check the rod clearance. Yeah, so I'm stick this bad boy back in the bag because I'm not doing no more for today. I think it's like 8 o'clock. So the next time you'll see this, all the pistons will be installed on the car. All two with the top ring at 0.026 and the bottom at 0.028. I did it. But honestly, stay tuned. We have a lot more to come. This is only the beginning of the channel. An engine swap. Tuning out.